Netherlands are preparing to face Argentina in their quarter-final on Friday night. Let's get some more from the Dutch camp. Our reporter Geraint Hughes was at their news conference ahead of that huge matchup for us. Good afternoon, good evening to you there in Qatar, Geraint. It's interesting, we've been speaking to, or hearing from Kyle Walker, talking about how he's going to handle the threat of Kylian Mbappe on Saturday. I know you put some questions to Virgil van Dijk about coming up against and trying to stop Lionel Messi, didn't you?
Yeah, not a difficult question for me to come up with that one, because it's posing the problem with Argentina, and you know, great side that they are, but there is one standout player in Lionel Messi, who's, you know, just what an incredible player he is, and you kind of feel that from the Argentinian side that he's on this mission with his country, with his nation behind him as well. However, you mentioned them, I think you used the word mouth-watering. I've got the privilege of covering this game on Friday. Netherlands-Argentina World Cup quarter-final. Just an extraordinary matchup, and there'll be some really fantastic historical ties between them as well. 2014 as well, the Dutch lost to Argentina on their way to the final there. But then also you remember back Dennis Bergkamp's last gasp goal at France '98, which is a World Cup quarter-final as well. So incredible sort of history between the two nations as well. And when you look at Messi, who's there to stop him? Well, it's Virgil van Dijk who is at the heart of that Netherlands defence. He is so cool. Speaking to him today, he wouldn't break sweat. You know, it's a little bit cooler in Qatar today, Julian, but that guy would just not break any sweat. I asked him about sort of what he has to do. He's faced some of the world's best for Liverpool and, of course, with the Netherlands as well. But what does he do when preparing for Lionel Messi and for Argentina?
One of the best players of all time, maybe Lionel Messi. Obviously, he's done it for so many years. I would say him and Cristiano Ronaldo have been, you know, the two stand-up players of the last 2 decades, and there's only respect towards what they achieved. And for us now, obviously, it's not the case of preparing just for him. We're preparing to beat Argentina, and obviously we know how big of a part he is of their success over the years.
And of course, Geraint, now we're into the knockout stages. We've seen already penalties are a real possibility. How have the Netherlands squad been preparing for a possible shootout?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say everybody's been looking at what Spain did last night and don't want to repeat what happened with them last night. Van Dijk, listen, he confirmed they've been practicing as well, but also it's got to be in players' minds now, hasn't it? Now you're in the knockout stages, that if you go beyond 90, the likelihood is that 120 minutes might not resolve it and you're going towards penalties. So yeah, you've got two fantastic sides. What if they're not separated? It is going to be penalties. This is what Virgil van Dijk had to say.
We have been practicing already since the last period we've been together, but it doesn't guarantee that in a game where you play a full stadium full of 80,000 people and there is a semi-final at stake, that everything will go the same. So we try to do as much as possible in order to be ready for it, but hopefully we don't come to that stage and we can decide the game before getting into extra time or penalties. But yeah, if it's there and the time is there, we have to be ready for it, and we practiced as much as possible for it.
I think Van Dijk was really trying to get across the message of penalties in the mind, and with Spain last night is that probably they were taking their penalties towards the Moroccan fans, and I've spoken to some people who were at the game last night, and they just seemed to be utterly perplexed by what was coming from that crowd, and that may have played a psychological effect, and Van Dijk, I think, was alluding to that psychological effect. Nice little ditty though from Andries Noppert, the Dutch keeper who was alongside Virgil van Dijk today. He was asked a question about penalties. You know, what would he do? How does he prepare if he's got to face a penalty against Lionel Messi? He had this wonderful smile on his face and he said, well, Messi could always miss. He's human, and everyone just burst out laughing. It was a really, really nice answer to sort of kind of diffuse quite a serious question. We're just kind of saying, hey, he's human. He could miss. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. It could be a really, really good game on Friday night. Netherlands against Argentina, plenty of history. Two good sides going up against one another.
Yeah, it could be a cracker, couldn't it? Geraint, for now, thanks very much indeed.